Hi there, welcome back to the two short videos we've got on what questions to ask my solicitor. And I should have perhaps said in the first one, this is what questions to ask my litigation solicitor. You might not need to go through all these questions if you're buying or selling a home. Now, the other question that came out from our commercial clients in the business group we spoke to was another place where they've been dissatisfied with previous experiences of solicitors is this question: will you be handling all of my work personally? Because what they found out was that they instructed a firm or a person on reputation, met somebody like them, but then found out that 80% of the work was being dealt with by somebody else or by somebody junior. Now, there are good reasons sometimes for the work to be done by somebody more junior. It doesn't always have to be done by the senior litigator. Some of the work is quite humdrum. But you want an explanation of what is going to be handled by the senior litigator and what is going to be handled by his staff, so you can make sure you're happy with that. And the other question that came out of the groups who'd had, as I say, had varying experiences with solicitors was how are you going to build my case? Because what had happened with quite a few of the people we spoke to was that they'd been to court and they'd found that their opponent had actually had a really well-crafted case, but their case, quote unquote, hadn't really been given a lot of thought. And building a case is actually a very important part of bringing a litigation matter to court, because if you just push all the facts and the law at the court and say that it should draw these conclusions from it, but obviously it might not. A case has to be built. I mean, when politicians do it, they call it spin, don't they? But building a case is looking at the difficult parts of somebody's case and coming to a decision with the client how those difficult parts are going to be dealt with, and looking at the good parts of the case and considering how they're going to be underlined. It's that type of thing, and it's one of the most important things that should be done, and it's often neglected. Now, the obvious question is, how much will it cost? And people tend to ask that first. Of course, you can hazard a guess, and I'll hazard a guess if people insist that I hazard a guess, but how much will it cost can only really be answered after you've done the case analysis. So once you've done the case analysis and you know what you're going to need to prepare the case and what you're going to need to build it, it's only then that you can work out a budget for each stage and hope to be fairly accurate. And I should mention, on building the case, that is not something that should be left to the solicitor alone. You have to, and sometimes it's quite difficult to get clients to get involved, because it's something that makes them feel uncomfortable. They just want to hand it all over and get a shot of it. But if you do that, if you do just hand it all over and say, right, you deal with it, I want to hear about it as little as possible, whatever, you're handing all your power over to the lawyer, aren't you? And you're not retaining any power of decision making yourself, really, which is not a good idea, I would say. So I try and encourage customers to understand the rules of law. Most of the concepts are not that difficult to understand, and a lot of them are quite straightforward. They're just hidden in a difficult language called law. So understanding the case and building it with a solicitor is, I would say, is extremely important. And how much will it cost comes at the end of that process of strategic decision analysis and case building and making a plan of how you're actually going to bring this case forward, and then you can prepare a budget. And the last question that very, very few people ask is, can you give me a personal reference for the type of work that you're about to undertake for me? So you ask the solicitor, can I phone one of your previous clients who'll give you a reference for this type of work? That's very seldom done, but it's a good question to ask. And of course, all our testimonials are on our website, and if that ain't good enough, at Cato Solicitors, we will always give you a client name you can call. That won't be a problem. Thank you.